Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Hindu News Analysis. It is 12th June today, and in this video we are going to discuss few important articles which could be relevant for your preparation, whether you are preparing for prelims 2026 or mains 2025, or whatever exam you are preparing which will require the current affairs. This video is for you guys then. Before we'll start our discussion, I want to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel or you are watching it first time, you would come to know what this initiative is about and what our plans are with respect to your preparation. Basically from the 2nd June, we started this initiative in which we every day upload 2 videos on our YouTube channel. In the first one, we discuss the current affairs. What we do here, we will take up the most relevant articles for your preparation. We will try to discuss them. We will try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we will try to show you how you can relate it with your preparation, how it is relevant with your mains preparation, or how it is relevant with your prelims preparation. And at the same time, we will try to derive the possible prelims questions from these articles so that it will give the exact idea how questions can be asked from these articles. This is what we will do in the first video, which is this video, which we upload in the morning or afternoon session. During the evening or the night session, we upload the another video in which we take up your static syllabus. We had promised you, if you would have watched our video, that by the month of Jan 2026 we are going to complete your syllabus, and in this we are going to conduct the lectures of every subject which is required for you to clear the exam, whether it would be related to prelims or mains. Except optionals or language classes, we are not going to take those classes here. So this is what this whole initiative is about. If you want to be the part of our journey, if you want us to be the part of your journey, please do connect with us. It is totally free of cost, and we will try to deliver the best coaching which the best coaching institutes deliver for you guys, for which you are giving them lots of money in thousands and lakhs. This initiative is totally free. As you can see here, it is on the YouTube. It is available to everybody, and if you want to be the part of the journey, just hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button so that you would come to know that we had uploaded the video. And also at the end, please do write in the comments what do you feel about this initiative, what do you feel about the video, and is there any need of anything which we should bring for you, by which we can help you guys. So this is in a nutshell about the initiative here. Now without any delay, let's start our discussion, what we are going to discuss here today. The first article, as you can see here on the screen, is basically talking about the juvenile violent crimes done by juveniles. It has increased in India. So let's try to discuss it. Let's try to give it a different angle. As I had already told you guys, that for an article to understand, you have to go through different angles to it. So let's try to dig deep into it and try to understand what this juveniles, what it is about, and how it is treated, how they are treated if they do any serious crime. You would have heard about Nirbhaya gang rape. I guess everybody would have heard about that gang rape in which she was brutally gang raped, and we know what she had faced, and unfortunately she died after a few days. She was accompanied by her friend, and we know the rest of what happened with them. So during this incident, there were few accused persons who finally got hanged, and among them there was a person who was something, at that time his age was something around 17.6 or 17.5, something around this. It was his age, and he has not yet completed 18 years. He had not yet completed 18 years. For these criminals who had not completed 18 years, they are they are seen as the juveniles, or they are seen as not adults. They are seen as juveniles, and for them the law states different things. What does the law states for them? Law states that if any heinous crime is done by them, they won't be treated as the adults. They won't be treated as the adults. So what would be the result, what would be the intensity of the punishment? It would be maximum 3 years. It was during 2012 when this incident happened. and there is no chance that we can hang such person, no chance that we can hang such person. So what happened with this person, after 3 years, it was for him, he was about to get out of the jail, and he was not hanged because we could not hang him because of his age, the crime he did. So after that, what happened, after this incident, we know that you might not be knowing that this Juvenile Act, it was amended, because there were various Juvenile Justice Act, it was basically amended because there were various various protests against this person, that if a person is so capable of doing such heinous crime, if a person who is aged below 18 and is capable of doing such heinous crime, he should be hanged, he should be treated as an adult, and he should be hanged too. So with respect to, there was huge protest with respect to this Juvenile Justice Act, and finally in 2015 the Juvenile Justice Act, it was it was amended, and few things were introduced in it. What were those few things? Let's try to understand that. In this, what were the few things? That if a person who is between the age group of 16 to 18 and he is involved in any such heinous crime, here we need to understand what this heinous crime is. For that, what we consider the heinous crime, if the punishment for that, if an adult person will do this and the punishment exceeds 7, is either 7 years or exceeds it, or is to be hanged, then this crime is called as heinous crime. So what was the amendment made here? If a person who is of the age who is in the age limit between 16 to 18 years, he is involved in such crime, he would be treated as what? He would be treated as an adult. He would be treated as an adult, but the jail term will increase, but at the same time the punishment would be almost same as the jail. In respect to the jail term, the punishment would be same, but one thing they have to take care of, even then we cannot hang the person, if he is between this age group. So this amendment was brought in. So because of this, if we will see now, coming back to the data given here, if we will see in India, as the article here suggests, that the violent crimes by juveniles have increased in India. Most of the crime is done by the juveniles, as highlighted by the article, that out of 144 crimes done by them are very heinous in nature, and it is increasing. And the states which are on the top of this are the Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. They are the states which are in the top, in which the children doing such crimes are at the top. The states are Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. So these states are topping in the list with respect to our country. So this is the article which highlighted that how the heinous crimes in India, it has shot up, especially by the juveniles. The number of juveniles who are in the custody, if we will calculate them, out of 144.9 are those who had done some heinous crime. So with respect to this, what we need to know from here, we need to know what are the reforms which we should bring in to reduce it, what we can do, what government can do at the education level, to educate the children about the very nature of the crime, to educate the children about the humanity, what does it mean. There are various changes which we can bring in. For example, at the school level, at the there should be the proper counseling of the children from the very beginning. They should be taught how to control the anger, they should be taught how to control their emotions. This is what it will take to reduce these crimes. It will take to reduce these these heinous crimes which are happening, which are done by those children. So this journey, it would just start from the beginning. There should be well sanitization of the thoughts, well sanitization of the psychology at the very beginning, at the very school age. This is what is required right now. So with this, I hope you had understood the article. It is basically talking about, in this there is a lot of data given with respect to the juvenile convention, with respect to their how many cases they are involved in, and what is the percentage that they had done the heinous crimes. So this is what can be relevant for your mains preparation. If any question would be asked with respect to juvenile justice, so you can write these cases, you can write this data in there. So this is what is required for you. Now with this, let's try to solve. I hope you had understood the article here. Now let's try to find out what question related to prelims can be asked from this article. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. Here first statement, the act mandates that any juvenile aged between 16 and 18 years accused of a heinous offense shall compulsorily be treated as an adult in a regular session court. This is totally incorrect. It is not that he should compulsorily treat it as an adult. There should be preliminary assessment done before such case should be treated as an adult case. So first statement is totally incorrect. Second statement, it is very extreme and incorrect. Second statement, by here only, by reading the first statement in the exam, we are able to answer the question. We can eliminate option A, here option C and option D. We are left with option B only. That would be the correct answer. So this is the shortest trick which we can implement. That's why I say after reading every statement, you should look at the options. If there is incorrect statement and in the options that statement is given, then we can easily eliminate it, and it will help us in reducing the time as well as marking the questions correctly. Maybe sometimes there are statements which are not aware to you, but once you can identify the incorrect statements, it will definitely help you. Second statement, it says the act introduced the concept of preliminary assessment by the Juvenile Justice Board to determine if a juvenile in the age group of 16 and 18 accused of a heinous crime should be treated as an adult. That is exactly true. We discussed what heinous crime is. Third, the act defines a child in a conflict with law as a person who has not completed 18 years of age and is alleged to have committed an offense. 100% true. It gave us the definition of the child. Fourth statement, the Central Adoption Resource Authority was established as a statutory body under this act to regulate in-country and inter-country adoptions. Correct. Nothing wrong with it. Even if we don't know it, we can mark it correct because from the options itself. So with this, what is the motive of this question? First, the motive of the question is to understand the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children's Act 2015. What were the amendments made in it? The motive is to understand those, to give the clear idea about it, and also the article itself gave us the data with respect to the states in which there are the maximum cases of juvenile crimes done by the children between the age group of 16 and 18 and the heinous crime they had done. So this article is basically, it gives us both the data, it gives us the information about what act is responsible for that, and what can be the outcome, what can be the what can be the way forward in reducing it. So with this, I hope you had understood the article as well as the question here. Now let's move to the another article and see what we had brought here. Well, the article is talking about the bad blood. What is this bad blood? Bad blood between India and Canada. If we will look at the historical perspective of the two, between India and Canada, when India got its independence, our relationship were very smooth. There was nothing that great, neither nothing that bad about it. In fact, Canada was one of the initial countries who recognized independent India. After some time, relational embassies were exchanged. Both the countries established their embassies in each other countries. After some time, when during 1970s, to be more precise, that India, they launched a program, Smiling Buddha, in which they tested their nuclear weapon. And during that time, Canada started to impose sanctions on India, and the relations started deteriorating since then. But after that, when there was Narasimha Rao Manmohan Singh government, especially known for the LPG reforms, India became the market hub for the world, and the relationship between India and Canada, it started to go well. But unfortunately, the Canada, if we look at the Canada, what are the Indian diaspora living there? The Indian diaspora are majorly from Punjab. And we know that in the Punjab there had been insurgencies. With respect to the Khalistan. They wanted an independent country called Khalistan, and there was a Khalistani struggle in the Punjabian people. And when they migrated there, when they went to Canada for the better job, and it is believed that approximately something around 1.9 million Indians are in Canada, and mostly are from Punjab. So what Canada became the second home for the Punjabis, and these were those people who demanded the Khalistani, who actually encouraged the Khalistani movement, and they were supported by whom? They were supported by Canada. So because of this, the relationship between India and Canada started to deteriorate, and eventually when the Hardeep Singh Najjar case recently, in 2 years back, I guess in 2023, this Hardeep Singh Najjar case came into the incident when he was assassinated there, and it was the Trudeau government at that time in Canada who accused directly the Indian Home Minister that he was the responsible for his assassination, and it was not liked well between the two nations, between the two countries, it was not liked by the Indian, and so there were tensions between the India and Canada, and the tensions rose to so much that both the embassies, the Canadian officials were told to leave the country. They were told to leave the country, and we discussed this concept in our, when we discussed, the protection for the embassies, the protection granted by the, granted to the foreign officials. We discussed that in our political classes. In I guess 2 days back we discussed that. During that time the relationship between India and Canada deteriorated to the highest level. But there are some changes with respect to it. What are the changes? That Trudeau government, they got replaced by another government, and one thing which is a good news, that they had invited India for G7 summit. So here we need to know that how it can be the opportunity. The article here says that it can be the opportunity for us to end this bad blood between India and Canada. Canada is one of the major power in the world, and for us, we cannot afford to lose them. We need to be friends with them. The diaspora we have there, we need to connect with them, and it is time for us, prime time to cool down the emotions and start to develop the better relationship. So here what becomes relevant for us is G7. What is this? It is the, it is an informal grouping of 7 countries. What are those 7 countries? US, Canada, Japan, UK, Germany, France, and Italy. Earlier it used to be G8, but in 2014 the Russia was removed from it because it annexed Crimea when it attacked Ukraine. So it was removed from it, and now it became only G7. So this is about it, how India got invited, even though the invitation was very late, but India got invited to it. So the article here says that India should visit it. They should try to correct the wrongs which we had done from the both sides, and we cannot afford to lose Canada. We need to have a better relationship with them. So here with respect to this article, it can be relevant for your preparation with respect to mains, the international relations, India's relationship with Canada, how we can develop it, how Canada is important for us, as well as a question with respect to prelims can be asked either with respect to G7, what this G7 is, or a direct question about Canada may be asked, with respect to what are the land borders with Canada, what are the countries sharing land borders with Canada. Such questions are often asked in the geography. So let's try to answer it. Here the question says, which of the following countries' territories share a land border with Canada? 100% United States of America. Greenland, even though the Denmark part, it is very less known, but it has a connection with the Canada too. So this is also the correct option. This third, Saint Pere and Miquelon, it is incorrect. They have the maritime boundary, and Russia maritime boundary. So the correct answer to this is option 1 and 2 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. So with this, I hope you had understood the article as well as the question here. Now let's move to the third article which we had brought today. Well, the article is basically talking about the Chenab Bridge, which is going to connect Jammu and Kashmir with mainland India through railways. It is very much important bridge. Its construction was supposed to happen, and it had basically started way back, and finally this year it was completed. So what can be the important facts which would be relevant for us with respect to this rail bridge construction on the Chenab rail bridge. What are the important facts which we need to know? First, its height. What is the height of this rail bridge? It is 35 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower. Higher than the Eiffel Tower. So that we should know. Second, it is world's highest railway arch bridge. It is world's highest railway arch bridge. This thing we need to know. And about this bridge, why there was so much late in making such a bridge? Because of the terrain in this region. This terrain comes in the seismic zone. There are high speed winds, so it needed the engineering greatness to develop such a bridge, and finally it has been developed. So it will help in better connectivity. This definitely will connect Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. There would be better connectivity. It will help in the logistics transport. It will definitely help in the security. The security will be much tightened because of this bridge. So it will reduce the gap between the mainland India and the Jammu and Kashmir. There was no such bridge earlier. The railways were till Jammu only, and then you have to go through the road, by the road, till Banihal. In Banihal you would connect, you will get connected with the train, and that train was also introduced very late in Jammu and Kashmir, especially I guess in 2008 or 9 that train was introduced in Jammu and Kashmir region. Not in 2009, maybe more, I guess 2010, 11, something like that it was introduced. So this train was also in the Jammu and Kashmir region. It was introduced very late because of the terrain in this region, and because of this it will definitely reduce the time between India, between Delhi and Kashmir. Earlier it would have taken 24 hours if you wanted to go by road from Delhi and Kashmir. Now it will only take 12 hours to complete this journey. In one night you can reach the Kashmir. So it will definitely smoothen the connectivity here. So these are some important facts which you should remember for your prelims exam or PSC exams if you are preparing for any. So with this, let's try to move to the another article which we had brought here. The article is talking about a different approach to the caste census. We are discussing census now from last few days. How it was first, how the first census was brought in 1871, which was non-synchronous. Then 1882 the first synchronous census, and till then caste was also added. But in 1931 the caste census, it was taken. 1931 was the last census. Basically in 1941 there was no caste census taken at that time because of the World War. As World War was there, so they did not wanted to spend so much time in getting the caste census, so they cut it short. Only the social STs and SCs were collected. So this census, which they are going to start by the year 2027, and the whole census would be completed by the year 2028. So this is very much unique because they are going to add the caste census again to it. When they will add the caste census again to it, what would be the approach, how it will help? We know that in our country there is the diversity of the caste, diversity of everything, whether it would be the caste, whether it would be the religion, whether it would be the language. There is huge diversity in our country, and there are people, if you would had seen my yesterday's lecture about Indian polity, we discussed Article 16 in a very detailed manner, and in that we discussed how there is the need for the horizontal reservation, for example, subcategorization of the castes. And we discussed the Davinder Singh versus the Punjab case. We discussed that case, and we saw that how it was the Supreme Court which gave the final verdict that the states can go for the subcategorization of these castes. So it would definitely help in understanding the pattern, who are the people who need the benefit, who are the people who are lacking the housing, who are the people who what are the groups of the costs who are lacking, which group lacks what. So by getting this, by getting the information, we can approach it in a different way. We can give them the benefits, we can give them the requirements what are required for those people. And also why it is different, because the stigma related to cost will be, that won't be counted, but the things which we can provide them, how we can help them, that is the approach, that is the different approach which we are going to get through this cost census, which would be conducted from 2027. So this is what this whole article is basically talking about in nutshell. So with this, let's try to solve the question here and see what question we can frame from this article. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the socio-economic cost census in India. First statement, socio-economic cost census 2011 was the first cost census conducted in India since 1931. No, totally incorrect, because 2011 cost census, even though costs were added, but it was not complete, so it is totally incorrect. Second, the data collected under the 2011 socio-economic cost census on the cost of households is publicly released. Totally incorrect. It can't be publicly released, so this statement is totally incorrect. Third statement, the socio-economic cost census is distinct from the decadal census of India, which is conducted by the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner of India under the Census Act. Yes, it is distinct. If it would have been conducted separately, but this year's census cost census is conducted with the decadal census, so in a way it is not distinct, but at the same time it is distinct. So here, as it has not been conducted yet, the statement would be correct. And it is true, it is distinct, because in in decadal census we did not counted all the costs. It was only supposed to so SCs and STs. But in the socio-economic cost census, we are going to conduct every census related to every cost. We are going to subcategorize them. We are going to understand them, what are the needs of those people, and we are going to target them through welfare schemes. So definitely it is true. Fourth statement, one of the primary objectives of conducting a cost census is to identify beneficiaries for various welfare schemes based on their socio-economic status and cost. Exactly true. That is why they are going to conduct it. It is not to derogate them. It is not to increase the stigma which is associated with them, but to target the schemes, welfare schemes, which are required by the people in those costs, in those groups. So with respect to this question, the correct statement would definitely be statement 2 and statement 3, and from the statement 3 and statement 4, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option D. With this, let's move to the last article of today's discussion. Here the article is about recounting well-poor story in ending child labor. Well, it is Child Labor Day today. It is given by the ILO, International Labour Organization, which is one of the organizations of UN, United Nations, and it is the only tripartite organization of the UN. So with respect to this, let's try to understand what child labor is. First, let's try to understand that what ILO says, what child labor is. To understand the child labor, let's try to understand the definition of ILO. It says that child labor is anything, any labor work done between the age group of, done by the child, which impacts the schooling of the child. But there are few, if any work done by a child in the age group of 1 to 14, if in the age group of 1 to 14 it impacts the schooling of the child, then that work, it impacts the schooling of the child, it impacts the childhood of the child, it takes the childhood away from the child, and the work is done in the hazardous environment, then this will be the violation of the child labor. So with respect to this, there are few things allowed for it. There are few places where a child can work. For example, there is some agricultural business, which is agricultural business which the households have. The child can work for their parents there, but there is a condition that his school timing should not be impacted. Second, he can work in audio and visual industries, but the same condition that his school timing should not be impacted. Okay, should not be impacted. With respect to this, we have the 1986, the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. This act, it specifies that the child can't work in hazardous occupation and processes. After this child under the 1986, the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act, that child can't work in the hazardous environment. It was in 1986, but we saw that when the right to education became the fundamental right and it was introduced in Article 21A, then what was important, that once the child is in the working age, once the child is in the age group of 6 to 14, he can work in agriculture, he can work in audiovisual industry, but his schooling should not be taken away from him. His fundamental right to study, to go to school, should not be taken away from him. He can work in these, and the children between 14 to 18, for them there is separate separate provision in it, that these children, they can work, but what is important, even though if they will work, their schooling may get impacted, but it is not a fundamental right, as between 6 to 14 the schooling for the children is fundamental right, which is free and compulsory. So in this age group, which is from 6 to 14, the child can work, but his schooling can't be impacted. But in this age group, child can work, he can compromise on schooling in certain conditions, but still his work should not be in hazardous environment. His work should not be in hazardous environment. So with respect to this, this article talks about the importance of the child labor, how it is impacting their schooling, how it is impacting their education. But at the same time, this article, it recognizes us the story, it gives us the case study of Velpur's model. It gives us the case study of Velpur's model. So let's try to understand what is this Velpur's model, what it is basically talking about. Basically, here we need to understand one important fact. Why do children want to work? The important question which we need to understand here, that why are parents, or why do children want to work? Why do they want to work? Why they are searching for the work? What is the reason for that? Why are children searching for the work? Or why are their parents sending their children for the work? What is the major reason? The major reason, the inherent reason in this is the poverty in the households. So if the household is poor, they are not able to feed the family properly, so they want their children at the very young age to go for some family, to go somewhere and earn livelihood for their family. In a way, they are forced to work. So if they are forced to work, it is going to definitely impact their education, it is definitely going to impact their health. And when they are forced to work, they are forced to work at any place, whether that would be hazardous environment there or not. So they are, in a way, the poverty leads this child labor. So here the case study given with respect to the Velpur, here what the officials did, they, the officers, the IAS officers, they implemented this. They worked very hard in this region, and presently, if we will see what is the enrollment rate there, it is 100% enrollment. 100% enrollment rate in this area. And what is the reason how they did it? They, in a way, they went to the households one by one. They convinced the families that schooling is very much important for them. For that reason, they were trolled highly. They were accused that they are going to kidnap their children. They were accused of money crimes, but they did not stop it. They brought in the they even brought the panchayats they involved the panchayats in this, and the Panchayati Raj institutions were also involved in this agreement. And finally the Panchayati Raj institutions, they signed the memorandum of understanding with the government. And finally the present result is that this area, the children in there is 100% enrollment rate in it. So what they did, they helped in, once they went to the households, there were many households who had taken money from the money lenders, who had taken money from the banks, and they were pushed to send their children for the labor. So these officials, what they did, they rescued the households, they waived their loans of approximately, it is believed that 35 lakh rupees were waived off in for those households, and finally these children were allowed to go to school, and this was restored for them. The article 21 was basically restored for them, that they should be in a position to get the education. So this is the story with respect to Welpur, and this is the story with respect to the various acts related to child labor. If you had not understood through this discussion, let's understand the acts through the question, and that would be very much that will make it very much clear for you guys. So let us see what does the question say. The question says, consider the following statements regarding the child labor laws in India. First statement: the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986 as amended in 2016, this was amended in 2016, prohibits the employment of children below age 14 years of age in all occupations and processes. Is it so? Does it prohibit the below age 14 years of age in all occupations and processes? No, it does not prohibit. You can work in the audiovisual industry, you can work for the agricultural fields if your family owns so. So first statement becomes incorrect. Second statement: the 2016 amendment to the Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act allows children to work in family enterprises or as artists in audiovisual entertainment industry, except in circuses, provided their schooling is not affected. 100% true. Here I want to add one more thing. Whenever in the question there may be two statements which would be contradicting with each other. For example, here 1 and 2, they are contradicting with each other. One statement is totally contradicting with 2. So when you would look for the answer, always have this thing in the mind, both of the two can't be the answers. So you can easily eliminate, like in statement 1, 1 and 2 is there, eliminate it easily. Statement 4, 1 and 2 is there, eliminate it easily. Now what we are left with? We are left with 2 and statement B and option B and option C. And here we understood that option 1 is incorrect. So definitely the correct answer is 2 and 3. Which is the answer to this question. So this is how you should try to apply your common sense in answering the questions. Now the third statement, what does it say? The act defines an adolescent as a person who has completed 14 years of age but has not completed 18 years. 100% correct. He is considered as adolescent, and below 14 he is considered as child. Fourth statement, the penalty for employing any child or adolescent in contravention of the act is imprisonment and may extend for 5 years. No, it is up to fine or maximum 2 years. So 5 years is the exaggeration. So this statement is also correct. So the correct option would be option 2 and 3 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. So with this we had completed our today's discussion. I hope I had explained everything in a very simple and informative way. I guess I had not forgotten anything. If there is anything, if there is any confusion, please do write in the comments. We are here to help you. This initiative is for you guys. As I had promised, even if only one student will watch my video, I will make it for very much available for him. So please, if you like it, hit the like button, write in the comments what do you feel about the video, and share it with your friends. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.